Hey there, it's Brian Murphy from Real Estate Training Systems. Just wanting to bring a short little video to you on garbage disposal inspections and defect recognition. On this particular unit, you can see that it's an older unit. You see a lot of corrosion, a lot of rust. Believe it or not, when this unit was ran, there were no water leaks. It did have it was a little bit noisier than most, and it did have a little bit of vibration. So we would place this in our place information in our inspection report, saying that this is an older component. You may continue to still use it until time of replacement. Again, maybe a defect, maybe not, but we definitely list the overall condition of this particular unit and notify the client that it is an older piece of equipment. On this one, you can see where the switch is installed in the face of the cabinetry, which is not a really good location or safe location for it. Obviously, it was a retrofit where somebody probably could not run wiring down the wall, so they placed the switch here. The safer location is on the inside. The scenario that could play out here is, let's just say somebody lost a ring inside the disposal. They reach in to grab the ring or to try to retrieve the ring from the disposal and accidentally bump the switch. Or let's say a small child comes in and turns on the switch not knowing that they're doing anything wrong. We'll then nickname the new person Nubby. Is that correct? So really the best location is up on the wall, preferably, not in the face of the cabinet, or place it inside the cabinetry would really be a better location for this one. On this particular unit, you can see that it has a large crack in it and that it's spraying water onto the cabinet area. It's got a crack in a couple of different locations. Now, before you inspect this particular unit or place water in it, it may have been a good idea to open up the cabinet and just see that it's got a crack in it. You may choose not to test it at that point in time and just list it as end of life and list the cracks and known water leaks that you know are going to happen anyways. Now I tested this one because it makes a good video, or it makes a good photo for defect recognition. On this particular unit, you are allowed to hardwire disposals. So that means you can see here where the wiring is leaving the wall and going over to the disposal housing. You can, again, hardwire disposals direct, but that wiring should be in conduit and also secured to the base of the disposal. On this one, this is a plug-and-play type disposal, and you can see where the wiring was not properly secured to the base of the disposal. What could play out here is the disposal, just using it over time with the small vibration that comes along with just a motorized piece of equipment, could slowly cut into the sheathing of the wire, eventually connecting the hot wire to the metal housing or energizing the housing, and that could be a potential cause of shock or electrocution. So that's the reason why it's important to check the underneath the disposal to make sure the wiring is connected properly and that it's secured into place. This one, again, is a good scenario that where if you were to just run water into the sink and run the disposal, this particular unit may not show this particular crack in the housing or leaks in it. This crack was on the back side of the disposal, and what could have played, or what would have happened here is that without running a large volume of water, this would have not leaked. But it's important to always put the stopper in, put 2 or 3 gallons of water or a large volume of water into the sink, and then pull the stopper and fill the interior of the disposal so you are able to catch these type of leaks. Again, just another disposal to show that rusted housing, and that the homeowner or somebody, maybe a tenant, placed a bag over this. It wasn't leaking at the time it was tested, but it was fairly noisy, so we would probably list this in our report as continue to use until time of replacement, but it is an older component and you should budget for replacement. This is a good scenario right here, is to always open up the cabinetry and take a look inside the cabinet and do a visual inspection of the disposal before you run it. Because if I would have filled up the sink and ran a large volume of water, this would have made a very large mess. So in this particular case, you wouldn't even have to run the water through the disposal. You're already going to be listing it as end of life, and replacement is necessary. On this disposal, what's not wrong with it? Is that correct? You can see the wiring going up the back of the cabinet, and then it goes over to the left of the disposal. Then they place it in conduit and run it over to the disposal. They didn't even secure the conduit to the base. They just left the open spliced wires at the bottom. And you like the little repair here where somebody may or may not have known how to connect the drain to the disposal, so they just used some hose and some compression fittings to be able to connect this. So definitely several defects here to place into your report. Hey, again, Brian Murphy with Real Estate Training Systems, bringing you this inspection moment. You can find more videos just like this on Facebook or YouTube, so check us out on Facebook and hit the little like button so you can see these future videos, or find us on YouTube and hit the subscribe button so you can get notified the next time we post another video. Hey there, it's Brian Murphy with the Real Estate Training Systems, just wanting to bring you a short little video clip on inspecting a garbage disposer. The first thing we want to do is just make sure this switch is in a good, safe location. It needs to be above the countertop and out of reach of children. If you were to find it upright or facing upright in the countertop, or sometimes you'll find it in the face of the front of the cabinetry, you want to list that as an unsafe location and recommend relocating it, possibly inside the cabinetry or putting it above the countertop. You want to take a look at the splash guard just to make sure the splash guard is in good condition. Sometimes you'll find them cracked, split, missing, or just pushed inside because it's just old and needs to be replaced. You can see that, look at the fittings here where the disposer is connected to the sink. The first part of the test, what we'll do is just turn the water on, and we'll get water running into the disposer. And then we'll turn the switch on to the disposal and get the disposal running. We want to check the disposal for any type of excessive vibrations, excessive noise, or the grinders or the blades not working properly. Also, we want to look at the bottom where the electrical connection is. You can see here where this one is properly secured into place. Now this is a plug and play type, so that electrical connection just needs to be secured in place. But if it's a hardwired type, you want the Romex type wiring to be in conduit. Also, you want to check the housing for any type of excessive rust or corrosion. You can see here at this point in time that there's no active water leak, so we want to inspect this disposal in a second manner as well. What I'm going to do is just take a brief pause, and we're going to fill up the disposer and check it with a large volume of water. Here we are at part 2 of the garbage disposal inspection. You can see where I just used a pretty generic stopper for the sink. You can use the stoppers that are in place or supplied by the homeowner or left behind by the homeowner if the house happens to be vacant. I carry one of these generic stoppers in my toolbox every day. Now what we do is we just start by turning on the disposal, and then we'll pull the stopper, and then we'll take a look at the disposal inside the cabinetry and check it for leaks. You remember the original part of the inspection, we did not see any leak whenever we were running water. Here you can see that the disposal has a crack in the housing that did not originally show up when we were just running water in the disposal. That's the reason why it's important to put a large volume of water into the disposal so it loads the disposal and fills it up, and that way you can find these type of water leaks. Again, bringing you another inspection moment through the eyes of the inspector.